Happy Sunday, my fellow limitless beings. Welcome to Life Talk episode 2. If you're new and haven't seen the first episode, no worries. Pop over and view it if you feel led. I want to thank everyone for being here. Those who are returning, thank you and welcome back. This was originally scheduled to go up on Christmas, but it was like hectic. Like I said, I have 4 kids. If you hear anything in the background, it's probably them. I'm not sorry. I'm a mom. It is what it is. Um, but today I want to talk about the power of giving up. I can already feel how unsettled some of you are with my choice of words too. Like giving up. What? What are we doing? What? There is a negative narrative around the phrase. Like to give up is to quit, and quitting is failing, right? But what if we change our perspective around what it is to give up, or to quit, or even to fail? What if I said failing is necessary? What if I said failing is part of the process? Not your process, but the process. Meaning everyone. What if I said quitting can be protection? What if I said giving up is better than holding down a position, perspective, or concept that no longer serves you? What does that feel like now? How do you feel that in your soul, in your heart? What if I told you the only time giving up, quitting, or failing is negative is when you've given up on, quit on, or failed yourself? That turns those negative, powerless phrases into positive, powerful phrases, right? So let's like I got my phone here, so I'm gonna look up something really quick. I want to find out like I'm gonna type into Google, what does it mean to give up? It says give up by dictionary definition. Ceasing making effort. Resign oneself to failure. And it says he wasn't the kind of man to give up easily. Definition 2, allow oneself to be taken over by an emotion or addiction. He gave himself up to pleasure. Yikes. So I'm going to change the definition. To give up is to surrender or to hand over that person, place, thing, or concept that no longer resonates with you. Excuse me. Doesn't that feel that sounds better? It feels better. It feels more acceptable, right? Because the reality is a lot of times we have to give up. Let's find out what's the definition of quit. What's the definition of quit? I'm going to type that into Google. Okay. Quit, a verb. Definition 1. Leave a place, usually permanent. Okay, that's not so bad. 2. Behave in a specified way. Quit yourselves like men and fight, they say, or rid of. Mm. What if I said to quit is to recognize that the situation, the understanding, or the method is no longer serving you and immediately removing your energy? It makes sense to do that, right? Well, let's find out the definition of failure. Let's find that out. Failure, lack of success. an economic policy that is doomed to failure. Or two, the omission of expected or required action, their failure to comply with the basic rules, etc., etc. So I'm going to change that definition as well. Failure is setting out to meet a specific goal, and instead of meeting that goal, learning valuable lessons in its place. That feels so much better, right? If you ever failed at anything, you already beat yourself up enough, right? But to know that my failure was my lesson, my failure taught me something, my failure gave me something valuable, right? People will try to shame you with these phrases. So you're just going to give up? So you're a quitter now? Failure is not an option, etc., etc., etc. I only change the definitions of these phrases to help you understand that it's not about whether you give up, quit, fail, or anything. It's about what you do next. I'm here to remind you not to wallow in what looks like the ceiling falling in. That's ungrateful energy. That's a low vibrational energy. When you give up, surrender with gratitude. When you quit, remove your energy with gratitude. When you fail, absorb the valuable lessons with gratitude. There is no such thing as coincidence. I don't believe in it. Coincidence is man made 3D consciousness fodder. GMO grade explanations for what is and what will always be. What's for you is for you, always. Like I said last week, you are at the center of your own progress. The only thing stopping you is you. What you want wants you back. But what does all of this look like, right? I'll give you some examples. Giving up with gratitude looks like this. I've seen all of these testimonials on how to blank. I was excited about getting started and studied under some great teachers and went out on my own to realize this isn't what I want to do with my life. And maybe you tried several different ways to recapture that excitement from the beginning. The reality is, it just doesn't resonate with you. Maybe it was the lifestyle and not the career path you resonated with. Maybe you ignored your soul telling you there's something better. So you don't stay, you go. Even though people are calling you crazy. Because giving up is better than holding down a position that makes you miserable. Just last week I said we were all created to do what sets our soul on fire. Excuse me. There is power in surrender. Most will look at the situation as a waste of time and possibly money, but we will see it as expansion and knowledge of self. It was a lesson in honoring the call of our soul, aligning with our core desires. That sounds powerful, right? A change of perspective can make something look completely different and inspire you and aspire you to do things that you would never have done. You would settle for something much smaller than you are. And I'm not like, this is no shade to anybody's particular path, because for someone, that thing that was not for you was their thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's better. I'm saying that for some people, it's just not their thing. An example of quitting. I'll share a personal one. Literal weeks ago, I was working at Walmart as an overnight stocker, running freight. Anyone who has ever worked third shift knows the toll it takes on your internal clock, and add lifting and climbing and pushing and pulling pallet jacks, etc. Like, you get it. I would get home and have black and blue bruises on my feet. Immediately go into hooked on phonics lessons with my two youngest, put my two older ones on a workbook or computer task, and apply masking tape to my eyelids so I wouldn't pass out. Right, so the very last detail isn't true, obviously. But regardless, I was tired. Too tired. I wanted to art, but couldn't find the time. Wanted to start this podcast, but you get it. Yes, the money helped. Yes, my body got stronger in some places and weaker in others. I met and connected with some really dope people. On the flip side, I couldn't do anything but Walmart. And whatever I managed to get done in the hours before sleep took over completely, it wasn't much. So I quit. Plain and simple. It sounds plain and simple, right? And obviously, it wasn't an easy or quick decision. One day, my body just wouldn't let me move. I just couldn't go. I felt exhausted. In my head, I just need a day. I'll call out and go in tomorrow. In my heart, in my gut, I knew I wasn't going back. And I had an internal battle. It started manifesting as sickness. I got chills. I was sniffling. I had aches and pains. I said, maybe it's the flu. But I'll tell you what, as soon as I said the words out loud, I'm not going back. I wasn't sick anymore. That night I had a dream. A woman who frequents my dreams actually gave me advice. I mean, like, reality is quitting created a loss of income, right? So of course I'm in this energy of lack or fear. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what am I gonna do? In this dream, she said, you had to go there to understand that working for someone else isn't what you were created for. You have to get to where you're going and burn the boats. I don't I don't know what that means. Like, at this point. Well, she's gone. So it's like I can't ask her. I wake up from my dream and I'm just like, burn the boats. Like, what is this? What is this? Later on, mind you, I don't believe in coincidence. I said that. So there's this channel that I watch on YouTube. His name is The Autistic Mystic. You should go check him out. He's really dope. He's powerful. He goes on to say, stop running away from my potential. Obviously, he was speaking to a collective of people, not me. But the message really resonated with me. So I took it as my message. And he said, I kid you not. Get to where you're going and burn the boats. So you can imagine my excitement, even though I still don't know what it means. Like, he explains it, right? So basically, what it means is, um, in the Trojan War, like, when the Troy soldiers would come onto shore of a land that they were going to conquer, rather than dock the boats, they would burn them. They would burn the boats with the idea in their head, like, there is no potential for escape. Like, I'm either going to do this successfully and win, or I'm going to die trying. So it was meant for me to just stand in all of these things, all of these dream things that I wanted to do, this podcast, my art channel, among a bunch of other spiritual things that I have going on that, I mean, we'll start to see later. But I am meant to dive into what lights me up, and that will be my most successful venture. I am my abundance. I had to quit because the situation, the understanding, and the method was no longer serving me. Abundance is overflowing. I was preparing myself to settle for just enough. And like I said, this is no shade to any position that's out there, because some people are made to do just that. Otherwise, they wouldn't be. Now, failure, I think I've mentioned the importance of balance. Failure is a friend. It's that friend that gives you the harsh truth, but coaches you through your tower. Failure is the check yourself energy. This isn't working as it is. Adjust fire. Start over. Scrap it. This is not for you. This way. The shame we feel when we fail is our ego. Like, why didn't it work? I did everything right. Let me tell you something. Right is wrong, is black and white, and up and down and light and dark is words. Just words. But let's use them. You did do everything right. And it brought you the lesson you needed to continue towards a successful outcome. Now do it a different way. It's a great lesson in like recognizing our individuality, can often yield us different outcomes given the same game plan. We have to find our own way. Like if you think about it in terms of like when you go to school and you take a test, right? There's a study guide usually, or if there's not a study guide, then there's material for you to study from, right? And you want to study with one of your friends. Your friend studies this way. This is different from how you've ever done it. But this friend frequently aces his or her tests. And you go, well, I'm just going to do it their way. I'm going to do it like them. And I know if I do it like them, then I know I'm going to get the grade that I want, right? Because it makes sense. Like they have a method and it has proven successful for them and it works. Well, you go and you do that and you fail miserably. You can't look at that test, at that grade, which is proof, and say, why didn't it work? I did everything right. There's no way that this is actually my score because I did everything right. Then that score tells you that the way that you prepared for that did not work for you. That failure taught you. My friend has a unique way of studying for his or her test, and it does not work for me. I have to find my own way. Right? This is with everything in life. Like we're conditioned to think that if we do something a specific way or think a specific way or follow these guidelines, these steps or whatever, we're going to have XYZ and life will be smooth, and that's that. And we see like in the people who surround us, like if that was the truth, there would be no like there would be no room for error. I'll say it that way. I'm doing my best to stay politically correct. Um, an error is human. An error is necessary. Through error, we create some of the most beautiful things. I'll talk about that another time though. To give up, to quit, to fail. Let's make these more powerful phrases. Change our perspective. They are not so much endings as they are new beginnings. Like, I gave up. What now? That's the important question. What now? I gave up this thing that was taking up so much of my time and stressing me to no end and not making me feel comfortable or happy in my body. And for my mental health, for my sanity, for my happiness, I gave up, right? That's okay. A lot of people are not going to tell you that. They're saying you got to do what you got to do. And I mean, to an extent, that's true. But it's like, you can't damage yourself to make something else comfortable or settled, or like I had to really look at that for myself. Like, I couldn't spend any time with my children. I couldn't my I had bruises on my legs and feet. I could barely stand. I was sleep half the day. Am I really taking care of my children? If I'm like, it was really a lot. I had to really weigh the pros and the cons. And um but yeah, do what must be done. Give up, quit, fail with gratitude. What's your opinion on this? How does this perspective like feel in your body? Let me know down in the comments. I really would like to know, like, maybe we could have a conversation about this, like, and really like dive into like personal experiences. And I'll read the comments and comment underneath. But either way, that's all the time I have for today, my people. I thank you for hanging out with me on my second episode of Mother the Podcast. If you have anything you want me to talk about or would like to share your opinions, leave it in the comments below or email me at the email address provided in the description box below. If you're vibing with me, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe on your way out. And share this to anybody you think might need it or it might help. And until next time, my loves, peace.